Hey, True Believers Englentine here with another batch of new comic book reviews. These are reviews of books that should still be on the shelf. I know I'm a little bit behind, but yeah. Anywho, one of the books I really want to pay attention to is Wonder Woman 759 because I heard how bad it is. I try to get a Marvel, a DC, and an independent, but sometimes distribution doesn't allow me to. But hey, with all that aside, let's get this party started. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna start with Wonder Woman 759. I subscribe. You know, I've got this on my pull list. In all honesty, sometimes I feel I do it out of character loyalty more than anything else. There are some really good stories for Wonder Woman in the Rebirth era, but there's a lot of just bland and boring stories as well, and that's where I would have placed this one. Let's start with the art, and you can see here there are problems. It's not the greatest in the world, and it ends up being bland. So if you're going to have this kind of art, you definitely want a story behind it. Now we get a little history. We get a few things that are going to come up later, telling us a little bit about Wonder Woman, and then we get the rest. This book was written by Mariko Tamaki, who did the really, really bad version of She-Hulk. Now, I've seen her do good work. I actually like Supergirl being super, but that's the only one. Like, every time I go, oh, yeah, that's better, I realize that she's done 52 things since then, and I'm still going back and saying, yeah, but she was good in that one thing. Now, in She-Hulk, she had an entire issue devoted to Jen is going to, actually it was like 3 or 4 issues about Jen going to work, going to get coffee, coming home. That's it. And it was boring as hell. So here you have Wonder Woman and her new roommates and everything going to IKEA. And look, if you made it just for a couple of panels or something, it's kind of funny because, these godlike beings are going and doing, hey, just the same thing you do. And then it could be cute. But if you waste pages on the dialogue of this, it just stops the story dead. But there is a traffic accident. See, this woman, we find out, is they see the car going all crazy, and then we find out that there's this woman, she's all kind of loopy, like she's being controlled, and her kid's crying, so Wonder Woman rushes out to save her, goes into traffic. Then she gets to the car, jumps like she's gonna jump over it, but instead jumps into the car, grabs onto the steering wheel. We see that there's a truck coming, and all of a sudden, I kid you not, what the hell kind of continuity is this? Because all of a sudden, she's on the outside of the truck, stopping both vehicles, and I'm sorry, doing that at the speeds that they were going, you have just killed both the driver of both cars, probably, and that kid in the back seat, he ain't doing too well either. This was the dumbest way for her to have even considered. This is like old school golden age. People aren't really thinking about what they're seeing. Comic book superheroing. So in the end, and this is really important. You remember how I said the art was bland? That's the best part about it. I'm not kidding. The art, which is nothing to write home about. Granted, I can't draw that well, but I'm not a professional comic book artist. The art's the best thing about this book because the story is garbage. It's just all over the place. I'm sorry, Wonder Woman, Marika, do better. Next up, I want to talk about a book called Man Among Ye. I've kind of been steering towards independent comic books, and that's fine. I mean, everybody likes what they like. I'm just looking for different experiences. I bought like 3 different zombie comics. So Stephanie Phillips, Craig Kermack, I've got to say right off the bat, I was really expecting a, ahoy, matey, I am the female lead of this, and I'm tougher than any pirate here, and if you challenge me, I'm going to take you down kind of thing. Granted, that didn't happen, and I'm very happy about that. Imagine the low bar that has been set by every other comic book artist and writer in the mainstream, that just having regular characters is an amazing thing these days. So this, but truly, the captain and the young lady here are a team. and that's fine. I mean, you actually had female pirates, and that's really okay. I'm not saying anything against it. I do like the ruthlessness too. They're pirates, and here this guy's, you know, he's asking for mercy and everything. The woman sets him on fire. That's actually pretty damn cool. There's a lot of good stuff to be had on this one. I have to admit, though, I'm saying and talking a lot about this because I'm seeing the pictures again as they go by while I'm talking about it. Before I did that, I searched my memory. What the hell is this book about? And I honestly couldn't even think about it. That's a problem. While reading it, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I think it's awesome, and I like the characters, and oh yeah, I remember that part. That was pretty cool as well. That's it, but it does not stick. It did not stick, at least not with me. I wish it did, so I could give it a higher grade, or I could say, hey, yeah, absolutely fantastic. You should go out and check it out. The most I can say is, while you're reading this, I think you're going to have a great time, but you will probably forget about it as soon as you close the pages. You know, Ant-Man is a curious little creature, and by that I mean the actual comic book. The book, the character, you could decide what you think about Ant-Man. This one, however, is one of those, I call them the MVPs. And by that I mean, this is a book that comes in, nobody's paying attention to it, tells a really fun and funny and enjoyable story, and then goes away. And the only people who will know about it are the people who noticed it. Kind of like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, I think I see something over there in the corner. What is it? Oh, it's an Ant-Man comic. Oh, wow, this is kind of funny. The Swarm comes to Ant-Man, and he's looking for help because this bug god wants to destroy him, and he ends up stealing the Pym particles, so he becomes this huge bug god that wants to take over the world because there's about 50 quadrillion bajillion bugs out there, and he knows it, and he's got control of them now. That is actually a fun story, I'm telling you. Dialogue's pretty good. Granted, Scott is a bit of a loser, you know. He's actually living in an anthill on his daughter's lawn so he could still see her. I kind of like that. What would you do if you were a divorced dad, separated from your children, but you have the superpower? And, you know, what would you do? I actually like that little component. This issue just continues the story. It's a lot. This is kind of the penultimate issue. It's the oh my gosh, they're in so much trouble kind of thing. I have a lot of fun with it. Completely enjoyable. I'm very glad I've been picking it up. I did it off a whim because I really like this one cover of him riding an ant through, like, over a swimming pool. I just thought the colors on it were really good. No one's like, yeah, let's give it a try. Let's read an Ant-Man comic, see how it is. I'm so happy I did. This is just a lot of fun. So I'm walking by the books, the independents on the shelf, and I see Stephen King, Sleeping Beauties. Woohoo! All right, a Stephen King comic. Look, he's a douchebag as far as politics are concerned and everything, but I still like his writing. So I pick it up, I bring it home, and I notice, oh man, adapted from a Stephen King. You know, make sure you're reading the fine print or the big bold letters on the cover, so you actually know this. You don't make the same mistake I did. So it's an adaptation from Stephen King and his son's novel, Sleeping Beauties. And so I'm okay. Let's check this thing out. All right, yeah, this starts pretty good. Okay, yeah, this guy gets killed in the field. Okay, let's flip it over, and now we've got a lot of talking. Okay, yeah, we're getting to know the characters. Not a lot of great characters here because you know, it's an adaptation, and you're not getting everything, all the information you want from it, and it keeps going, and they're still building up. They're not building to anything. They're just introducing characters. Oh, yeah, wait a second. Usually Stephen King spends about 100 pages developing characters, and you're adapting this story. Wow, that makes for a dull book, and it really is. This bored the shit out of me. I wish I could say it any other way, but man, this was not a lot of fun to read. It really wasn't. I wish I could say different. I do like Stephen King, but he's not writing the adaptation. He wrote the story that it was based around. I've never read the book Sleeping Beauty, so I don't have much to go on about this. But overall, Yeah, I can't recommend it. It wasn't all that great to me. All right, usually I line the covers up, my favorite to my least favorite, and this time around it's Ant-Man. Ant-Man was just a ton of fun. I'm very glad that I picked it up. I'm very happy to have read it. I recommend it to you guys, at least the trade. A Man Among Ye is second. Like I said, I did forget about it, but while I was reading it, I had a great time with it, and that says something at least, especially in the bunch of books that I had today. As you notice, not a lot of winners. Wonder Woman, bad book. Didn't care for it. Art was mundane. Story was actively bad, but at least it was bad enough that you could have a conversation, even if that conversation started with, this book sucks. Sleeping Beauties, on the other hand, it's flatline. It's a white page. I don't think that I would have gotten any less enjoyment by staring at a blank page for the same 10 minutes that it took me to read this comic. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. And if you do like this video, consider clicking on one of the ones that are popping up around you right now. Also, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and go on over to Patreon or Ko-Fi. Links in the description below, and help out the channel. I thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.